Hey guys, it's Cameron here with Emerson Property Management. Every week I bring you tools, tactics, strategies, lessons I've learned, things that have helped me build up a sizable rental portfolio. In about 2 years, now manage that portfolio. Today I want to discuss a survey. So Chad Carson, if you guys haven't seen the video, did a video on some of the books I recommend for reading, whether that's real estate, business, just in general. And one of Chad's books was on there. It's Retire Early with Real Estate. So in that book, he surveyed 851 current and aspiring early retirees. And I thought some of his facts, or at least some of the responses from these people, were pretty interesting. So get the book. It's on Bigger Pockets. It's a great book. Maybe we'll have a link to it below. But it's I'm just going to pull out a couple of these facts and then and share them with you. He also has them in a blog post, so I'll put that link below. But the first one is the passive income needed. Passive income to feel FI, or financially independent. So passive income to feel FI. So they had several different responses, and just for clarity and simplicity, I'm just going to write down the median or the middle, but he had less than 30,000 a year, 30,000 to 50,000, 50 to 75,000, 75 to 100,000, 100 to 150,000, and more than 150,000. So you can see those breakdowns, like I said, in that link, but the median response was, so if you put all these in order from top to bottom, this one will be right in the middle, is 50 to 75,000. 50 to 75K. So what does that mean? I was surprised. To feel financially independent, you need 50 to 75,000. The median income in this country is about 60,000, give or take, depending upon where you're at. Obviously, if you're in California, that's probably going to be a little bit different. But it was about almost 25% of the respondents said if they had 50 to 75,000 of passive income coming in, they would feel financially independent. Is that something that you guys, or the range that you guys thought? Some people, thought 30 to 50,000, or less than 30,000. Maybe 30 or 25,000 is enough you need. But again, out of these 851 current and aspiring financially independent, or what should I say, the aspiring early retirees. So the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, that's kind of the audience that he was going after. So that's the median income. And I'll tell you right now, if that's your goal or what you need, it's very, very attainable with rental properties. I mean, it's a little over $4,000 a month, net. Just say 5,000, you're right in the middle of that. The second question, or one I want to talk about, is ideal number of units. Number of units in retirement. So again, these are rental properties. Could be short-term, long-term. I don't think he got into that. But the most response, which was 21%. So the biggest response, or the most response, he had 1, 2 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 20, 20 to 50, and over 50. The biggest response was 20 to 50. Now, again, that might sound daunting to some of you, but if you guys buy a couple fourplexes, and I've talked about this several times with a handful of people recently, if you guys buy a few properties every year, for 10 years, and a couple of them are duplexes, a couple of them are triplexes, or a couple of single families here and there, then over 10 years, you're going to have 20 units, no problem. It's just when we get in that mindset thinking that we have to buy a 20 unit or 30 unit or 50 unit apartment building tomorrow or this year, or that's your goal, then things become tough. But if you do it over a span of time, it's not that difficult to grab 20 to 50 units. And again, the benefits of having more than just 1 unit or 2 units or 5 units is diversification. Just like anything, you buy a bunch of stocks, you buy an index fund, because it spreads and diversifies risk. The same thing with your rental properties. I don't want one rental property, because if that property catches on fire, has an incident, whatever. We had Harvey here a couple years ago, Hurricane Harvey, it floods. you could be looking at a serious issue, and all of your rents are gone. If you have one property, all your rents are gone, 100%. If you have 20 and one go down, that's only 5% of your portfolio. So again, that's a solid, for me, that sounds about right. 20 to 50 units gives you enough diversification. You don't need that many, a couple $100 a unit to get to your 50 to 75,000 number. So ideal level, this last one, this is the last piece I'll talk about. I thought this was really interesting. So the ideal level of debt, of rental property debt. So I'm just going to put rental debt. So ideal number of rental debt. Now guys, the big thing about this, or the big reason about this one, is because it's all over the board. So some people, you had almost 17% say none, 20% say 25%, less than 25% loan to value, about 27% say 26 to 56, and 17% say 51 to 75%. So if you want to go in the most group, they think 26 to 50% LTV. Again, 26 to 50% LTV. That's loan to value. So what does that mean? That means if you have a $100,000 property, then you have between 26 and 50,000 of debt on that property. Now, if you have $1 million portfolio, you just add the zero. So if it's $1 million portfolio, then you have 260,000 to 500,000 of debt against that rental portfolio. To me, that's a little conservative. I would probably be in the 51 to 75% range because of the ROE calculation. So again, if you guys haven't seen a video on ROE versus ROI, again, that's your money invested in the property. If you sold everything, your ROI is money invested in the property, your return on equity, ROE is the equity in the property. So if you sold it, liquidated it, what is in the property? What would you walk away with, the cash that you would walk away with? If we don't, for me, I don't want 200 grand sitting in a property and making me 10 grand a year. That's 5% return. To me, that's not a good return. I would rather have 20 grand sitting in there making me 10 grand a year. That's a 50% return on my equity. So again, check out that video. That will help understand that and why I'm on the side of a little over 50%, maybe that 50 to 75% range. So these three pieces, Chad Carson's post, his book, Retire Early with Real Estate, what did we get out of this? Basically, most of these people don't need a lot of money, 50 to 75,000 to feel financially independent. Ideal number of units, they need between 20 and 50. It might sound like a lot, but again, that is one of those figures that over 10 years, if you're not trying to do it all in year one, it's very, very attainable. You just pick up a property a year or every couple years. Maybe one year you'll pick up 5 or 10 units. It's a good year. Then you'll achieve that no problem. And again, the ideal level of debt, honestly, it's really dependent upon what you want. The statistics, or at least his figures from these 850 people, were all over the place. So that's really just dependent upon your flavor on what you would like. Again, we'll have the link below. You guys can check that out. If that made sense to you, I think these are probably in the range that I would be in as well. But if you guys have any comments, questions, you guys want to shoot some ideas off, or you don't agree, disagree, whatever, comment below. And if you found it valuable, share it with somebody. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.